Round of applause to everybody involved in this grind during January. This is the dashboard and the summary of my most recent month of YouTube, and it has been the absolute highest performance I've ever hit in my life. Usually, I'm very salty. No matter what kind of sub count I hit, no matter what kind of viewership I hit, you usually have this like feeling of I'm not happy, right? I always talk about I'm not happy about this, whatever. Let's actually do a more custom date range and kind of look at actually just January here, right? So let's look at December for a second. Remember the December metrics that I showed you before? So this was December and we're kind of just hanging on with the 1.8 mil. And notice how the money that you can make during December is actually the same amount of money that I made in January, despite a huge significant difference in viewership, right? Look at this. Look at this graph. So this is a breakdown, and I'm going to explain to you why I think it's over actually. There's some signals that I've been looking at regarding shadow ban, but before we get to that, let's do a quick summary of how fucking significant January was. So this is a bar graph. As you can see, these bars representing different months. And you can see that the beginning of a season is usually the highest, right? January last year, obviously, solo leveling, pop the fuck off, right? February, March, nothing. Spring hits, yet there's not really that many significant, animes happening, like To Be Hero X, that's pretty much it. Kind of dead, but consistent, maintaining. Summer hits, Lord of the Mystery pops off, we're chilling. And then fall hits, there was a nice little boost in fall too, but then it kind of dies down because I think a lot of fall shows were fraudulent. And now January hit, and I have literally hit the highest fucking viewership possible. The craziest thing is the difference in the December viewership versus the January viewership. December viewership is at 1.75 mil, which I think is extremely competitive still. For my subscriber count, compared to my competition, I believe 1.75 mil is significant. If you don't believe me, right? All you gotta do is this, right? Just go to fucking Social Blade and look at the different people's channels, right? I'm not gonna post like other people's channels content here, just kind of like what it calls so-called like exposing their viewership or whatever, right? But the views is very consistent, and if you look at my analytics, I think I'm extremely competitive. But I wasn't happy with this, right? Because I have been struggling for this entire time, right? I have been struggling of how the fuck am I gonna get through this hurdle, right? If you look at this range, let's look at this. And I'm just gonna bring you like my trials and tribulations. Like if you look at this range, the biggest fucking annoyance was this. This area was obviously kind of consistent right here. This area was also consistent for about half a fucking year. And we did pop off here relatively here, right? That was good. Yet it kind of fell back down and fall to that same area. And this level of growth is not really, I'm not happy about it. You know what I mean? It's like, this is good, but this is not the pace that I want to go. Something else needs to happen. But I felt like no matter what I did, nothing would change because of the shadow ban. Again, the shadow ban is what? You don't see my videos until the third day. Right? Like this is where you see your videos pop up, and this is where you're going to click, and that's how you get to the videos, right? But for a lot of people, my videos don't even show up until the third day. That's what we call the shadow ban. But right now, we're not really shadow banned still, and it's very weird. We have now hit a new baseline that is literally doubling the baseline before. And I'm very happy about it, yet I'm very cautious about it. Let's go back to the bar graph. So if we look at the January viewership, right? 2.6 mil, I just wanted to compare the December and January to show you that like the amount that I made in December, I think it was around 5 point something K. You guys remember that video I made? Kaka TV versus Nicholas Light, money, YouTube. Remember how I did the, I showed you guys this video breakdown, right? Going over someone with 1 million subscribers in my same niche versus me, who is also doing the same thing, yet I can still compete at a very high level. At the very end, I think I concluded that, 1.8 mil literally turned to 5.4K. But the thing you got to realize about YouTube is that seasonality matters. So as you can see, the revenue, right? It changes. It literally changes as like the seasons pass by. As in, December is the highest earning month. January is the lowest. Advertisers act on a seasonal basis. There's no reason for advertisers to do anything in January because what? Christmas is pretty much done, right? All of these like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all these different like holiday shit, pagan holiday shit where it's consumerism, right? Unless that shit's happening, money goes down. So right now in February, they're gearing up for like Valentine's, right? And later on Easter, and it starts to ramp up more. So those kind of things really basically determine how much money you're going from ads. January is historically the lowest month, but even if it's the lowest fucking month, isn't it crazy that like I'm literally like, look at the difference. There is a significant difference here. 1.8 mil versus 2.6 mil. Literally a difference of 1 million fucking views. Okay? Yet the money is the same. So if you do a coefficient, right? Let's do some math right now. So let's do some math right now. Calculator. Just like a little thought exercise. How am I going to do this? How does this make? Do I divide 1.8 by 5.448? So 1.8, right? Let's just do like this. Sorry, my math is fucking trash right now. Divided by 5458.91. So that is the amount of... Now what? Do I fucking times that by 2? I don't think this is the way you do it. No, I failed. That was retarded. Other way around. 5458.91. Money. That's right. 8. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that's better. Okay. That's per one view. Now we have a coefficient that is equivalent to what we were making in December. Let's multiply that by now 2.6 million. Holy shit, that was some actual elementary school math. Boom! So if we had the same level of advertiser action happening in January, I would have made nearly $8,000 this fucking month. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy, bro. But anyways, let's talk about and I want to show you some other stuff too. Watch time. The highest I have ever averaged throughout the entire year. In terms of views, it also is too. July comes pretty close though. July was also crazy, right? This summer was when I received my honorary Chinese medal, right? Xi Jinping, fucking cuttlefish that loves to dive. They just gave me this opportunity of a lifetime. I popped the fuck off, but it's not sustainable, right? These are fucking peaks. But man, the watch time is literally the highest it's ever been. Subscribers always kind of fluctuate. I've noticed that there's not really a difference. Like if we look at the lifetime, for example, for subscriber count, of course, what happened here? This is because I put your boy Roshi in the thumbnail and did a nuclear drama video calling out big reactors. Big peak. Subscriber count though, you'll see that even though the views are consistently going up, the watch time is consistently going up. And look at that, man. It's fucking beautiful how the watch time graph here. Look at this shit. I love to see that. Right? We are literally averaging the peaks of summer right now, which is fucking insane to me. But the sub count, there is no like build up momentum. It truly is up, down, up, down, up, down. Right? So these are all very good. And again, I'm just showing you just to kind of give you a very transparent way of showing how much work we put in, how much we got out of it. And for the first time, I'm actually happy. Usually, again, I'm just like a miserable son of a bitch, complaining and crying, saying this doesn't matter. Like, I'm not happy about anything. Like the sub count, we're reaching like 60K soon. I don't really care about that either. Like the sub count, like you could just put me at fucking 10K again. All I care about is the monthly viewership and the active sub I have. So right now, it's fucking amazing and I'm truly happy. But how long is this gonna go for? Because now, it's been an actual month. You know what I mean? The shadow ban that we talk about, what happens, right? So I'll bring up a graph, a different graph, right? Maybe this one isn't good. Maybe we'll do like this, right? So the shadow ban, sorry, let me get a better one. Like that. So what usually happens for us, right, is beginning of a new season, it fucking pops off. But then after the first 2 to 3 weeks, because again of a threshold of viewership that we shouldn't be crossing, you get punished, and this is what happens. And every new season, there's a little bump. And then for 2 to 3 weeks, right? And this period is about 2 to 3 weeks. And I expect, and this was also 2 to 3 weeks, right? And then shadow ban. And then spike up, and then shadow ban. This time we spiked up, it's been 4 weeks. You know what I mean? It's been 4 weeks. Why is it that you got an increase in watch time but not in the revenue? Did you not just listen to what we fucking did? Did you not just see the calculation of what we did to show you the comparison? I just did an entire fucking example of how seasonality changes, and we took a difference in December coefficient and applied to the January viewership to... Retarded. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyways, the shadow ban lasts about 2 to 3 weeks. Yet it's been 4 weeks now. And it's extremely, very, very stable. Right? There is no volatility anymore. If anything, everything is like, it's going like this, and it's trying to stabilize right now. And the scary thing here is, I'm like, when is it going to turn off? Because if we look at the most recent viewership or video, right? This is what I do. How do I tell when I'm shadow banned? It's simple. Just go look at your fucking algorithm, your reach, and look at if suggested views is dead. It's not. This is the most recent JoJo's episode. Obviously, JoJo's impression, videos are going to do really well. But like, we're looking for when the viewership dies down because the traffic of suggested video is not existent. That's what happens when you shadow ban. Literally, this all goes down and it's channel pages instead pulling up here because people are excited to see, like, did you upload a video or not? Right now, it's kind of weird. It's very weird because I want to show you this tab, the audience tab. This is where it gets tricky. So there's a couple of separate views. This is a monthly audience. It doesn't differentiate of what kind of audience that you have though. Okay, I'm going to show you a lifetime audience tab. That's a bit better. And I'm also going to bring you some other screenshots. It's from the mobile analytics from my mobile app, obviously, that has some other types of audience tabs in it. For some reason, I can't really find it in this like desktop tab. So here's another interpretation of the same thing I just showed you. I'm just bringing him some screenshots in just to kind of explain what's going on. Boom. So let's go back to this. If you look at this tab, again, these type of behaviors, let me try to line up something. Can I line up this with this? So I'm trying to basically like superimpose the, I'm trying to superimpose the viewership with the audience too. You know what I mean? Like that, something like that. I probably should shrink down a little bit more. Yeah, something like that, right? That's actually not too bad, actually. So I know it shrinks. Maybe I should get rid of this. This is kind of annoying. Let's get rid of that too. Let's bring this up and just trying to overlay it onto this here. So what we're trying to see here is obviously as the views go up, the audience goes up. And every time, right, it kind of directly correlates to the amount of people coming in. Like over here, that's the January spike, right? Sister leveling, right? This is the Lord of the Mystery spike. Boom, great. A little bit of a fall spike there, and then it kind of died down, right? As it dies down too. And here is the new spike. Okay, that's great. But it doesn't really tell you that much information, right? It's like, okay, yeah, views coming in, audience coming in, no fucking shit. What's your point? The more important thing is to look at this shit. So, I'm gonna take this. This, I think, is very significant. So, obviously, this is also correlating with that. If you can see. I'm gonna try to bring a better... Yeah, I think something like that might be enough. This is starting from February, right? So, we'll just lay it here. Sorry, I'm trying to fiddle around with this shit. I'm trying to squeeze this shit in to make it make sense. Yeah, something like that. What matters here is the different type of audience you have. Okay? So I know it's getting a bit tricky, but look at this. There is a difference in new viewers, casual viewers, and regular viewers. New viewers is the white line. Casual viewers is the purple, light purple, and the regular viewers is the dark. This is the concept I talk about tourism, right? Remember how I draw these 3 circles all the time for you guys? And explain to you that like there's a very different type of behavior in audiences, right? In the beginning, they're new viewers. They find you through random trends. Later on, if you do a good enough job and incentivize them to stick around and give them what they want through community-driven engagement, you get to have more casual viewers, right? Watched up to 5 months over the past year. And what happens if you truly just have a true community, right? Watched in 6 or months over the past year. It's like 3 separate categorization of groups, right? Of casual to medium to really dedicated. And this graph is very important to understand when I think like the floodgates are also coming in or coming off, right? Obviously, as you can see, as the shadow ban gets lifted, right? As the shadow ban gets lifted, always we get an influx of new people coming in. But also with that, you know, we have the regulars that's been watching for a long time, you know, basically get converted too, right? As this increases. So it's a tricky graph where this number actually is going up, but at the same time, it's being converted into this number. Do you know what I mean? Because like the more people watch, the more they're going to turn into this metric. Regardless, and also this part, this is like a, basically it's a new feature. They don't have any data for this part. That's why this part looks like kind of weird. So ignore that part. Here, every time the shadow ban goes onto effect, obviously the audience plateaus, right? There is a plateauing that happens across 3 separate boards. The same shit happens for the fall stuff too, right here, right? Because that fall was more drastic and it's quite dead. And here, right now, in our most recent audience tab, right? So this is the same thing, but 28 days. What I showed you was 365. I'm showing you a much more narrower view. For the first time over the last couple of days, it has stopped. And that is one of the first signals that I think is telling me that a shadow ban is about to go into effect. Now, we don't know if it's going to be a shadow ban necessarily, but according to historical precedents, every time, right, a shadow ban is about to fucking happen in that 2 to 3 week, the floodgates open where the audience tab goes up, but the moment that it plateaus, the moment that it goes down. Now, that's not really true all the times too, right? Okay, it plateaued, so what? You plateaued here too. You plateaued here before you start to go up again. So this doesn't mean that it's over. In fact, whenever you plateau, it means you're going to go up and down. It's just that we're up right now, so doesn't that mean it's probably going to go down? We don't know. None of us has any fucking clue. Here's some other interesting facts too. So this is a graph, again, that shows the monthly audience during my highest time, which is, I think, summertime, right? You can clearly see that summer, right? You can clearly see that the summer viewership here, is it higher than what we're having here? I just wanted to do a little calculation. So this part is where I bring in this. Let's do a little calculation here. What you see here is a graph where I'm hovering over the peak right over in this line and counting all these different things. So let's add them up. 186,296 plus 98,424 plus 56,581. So 340,301 is the maximum we made in summer. What about during January right now? Again, this is the same shit, except I closed in and I hovered in on this line where I peaked, okay? And that's what the numbers here are saying. So let's add that up. How's it going? 176,471, 107,834, and 75,375. So we did hit an all-time new high. Right? Actually, this could have fucking told us here too. But anyways, I wanted to look at more over here, right? We actually did hit an all-time new high, which I am very happy about. But again, when it's kind of doing this shit, I'm worried. I think this is probably the beginning of the end. As in, like, we're about to start going down. Here's some other interesting analytics that maybe you guys would be interested in. So other than that, right, here's some monthly audience too. So for the month, right, we have, this is the breakdown of the type of audience coming in. The tourist, the hardcore, and the community members. Here are some of the best videos over the time, right? Boom, look at that. JoJo's, One Punch Man, JoJo's Tamon, JJK, it's doing great. Some interesting, I guess, timeline of different animes, I guess, sorry, different schedules of audience coming in. Again, you have to look at my local time, which is PDT, right? I'm in the west coast of Canada, so that's that. Here are some important, notifications really don't matter. I think a lot of content creators really fixate on like how important notifications are. I don't think they matter at all. Notifications are never a significant sum of the viewership, nor does it actually matter in terms of like having that shit like propel your video in the beginning. Fun fact, a lot of people also are very schizo and say whenever they don't get notification, they think I'm shadow banned again. That's basically because I'm uploading 6 to 8 videos a day. So fun rule, the first 3 videos of a brand new day get notifications. Any more videos going beyond that is going to be, what's it called? It's going to be no notifications. So the fourth video onwards are going to be no notifications. So again, don't get that shit kind of confused with what's going on. So 10 to 30% is like typical on YouTube. I'm hitting 15.5. 5 to 20% is all for all channels. I'm putting 9.4. This is the watch time from sub to not sub. Love to see this breakdown. I want more people to be in the not sub category because remember, it's a good thing if you have a bigger breakdown of like not sub people. That means that YouTube is confident and is pushing your video out to a wider audience. Different, you know, age, gender stuff. So obviously, I'm actually surprised that even in this month when we have no, I think it's the Tamon crowd, probably, right? 9.5% female. Age breakdown. Definitely love that we're competing. Obviously, there's going to be more children here, right? I think that, of course, even in 43.5, more of these kids are going to be recognized as this type of audience because they're going to just write themselves, right? But my depth of commentary makes it such that I have a much more mature audience, which is a good thing. Breakdown of different audience: United States, India, Philippines, Indonesia, Germany. Love to see it. Canada, fraudulent. No subtitles, English. This is the different subtitle stuff. Different devices type too. Again, a lot of people, mobile phone, not really desktop, right? Desktop, it's actually quite lower. Many people are actually just watching YouTube through their mobile device. This happens on Twitch too. There's different breakdown, different videos my audience watches, right? Here's a different subscribers, right, that my audience watches, which is pretty cool, which are basically all the people that we collaborate and talk with, right? Popular different audience. This is a very interesting one too. So this is the type of videos that's appealing to the tourist, right? So the Blue Lock skit, To Be Hero Rank 1, you know, basically these are tourist content. This is the casual content, which is the same fucking shit, actually. What about the regular content? Not that big of a difference. Is there any other interesting content? How about this, the content tab? Oh, sorry. What I just showed you was a breakdown for a lifetime. My bad. I wanted to show you what happened this month. My bad. So let's look at the monthly audience for January. It's about the same shit. Okay, that's better. Okay, that's better. I'm actually surprised there's even more females though. What the fuck? So this is what I'm looking for. Lifetime wise, there is more younger audience, but here, look at this, right? I'm looking at the most recent month, more mature audience. I'm trying to show you that like my content, I'm trying to make it appeal to an older audience. This is not for children, right? I'm trying to, and like, but the audience breakdown doesn't really change, right? That's pretty much it. Mobile phone again, still dominating. Okay. And this is the same type of channels that people are watching, which is the same thing. Now, I want to show you some content related stuff, right? Let's look at the content related stuff. Key moments for audience retention. So I think YouTube kind of cares about like how long people are watching in the first 5 seconds. Doesn't matter too much for us. There's definitely videos that perform really well despite not people, you know, watching in the beginning. But this is kind of like above typical intros, below typical intros, blah, blah, blah. How viewers find your videos, very important, right? Again, browse features and suggested videos is the most important. If you're focusing only on YouTube search, I think you've already lost the game. Depends on what kind of channel you are. But for a reaction channel, I think that if you're depending on YouTube search, you've lost the sauce. This is supposed to be for like, you know, air conditioner model this number Z3937 review. You know, it's stuff like that's more search heavy, guide stuff like that. But when you're talking about like community driven content or reactions, the most important is browse features and suggested, right? Views from suggestions appearing alongside with other videos. So basically these videos, right? These are suggested videos on the right hand side. Browse features, again, I've showed you on the home page, right? When you go on the home page, what do you see on the front page? This is it, right? Most people find Baldi's back at it, baby. I love to see this fucking cockroach survive this nuclear fallout. I'm honestly very interested to see how well Tecton will navigate himself in the future. Anyways, going back to it. Anything else? Top videos. Here's some top videos for this month. JoJo's, One Punch Man, JJK, Fate, Tamon, drama video. I never want to hear retards saying you only get videos off of drama videos. Nah. All my viewership actually comes from anime reactions. You just happen to only cherry pick random fucking videos that's been uploaded in the first 3 hours and try to use that as a comparison. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Here, that's the overview. I wanted to give you a grand overview of what's going on, and I'm happy. For the first fucking time, I'm actually happy with YouTube. And that makes me terrified. It's a very weird thing where, have you ever felt like sometimes life is going too well and now you're kind of waiting on like the bad news to show up? That's kind of where I'm right now. It's a very weird thing where it's like, if things are going bad, then I'm incentivized to grind harder because I'm fucking angry and disappointed at myself. And that's great, right? It's what keeps me on the grind of like having such a high standard, yet you're not competent enough and you experience failure, but still striving for greatness. You go for the sun, you land on the clouds. You know what I mean? So you're still at a better place compared to before. But like finally, it's like I'm hitting the metrics that I actually wanted to hit. And I'm terrified because I think the switch is going to go off. Here's my prediction. So to wrap up the video, I love to do these predictions, right? Here's my prediction of what I think is going to happen. And my predictions, if you go look at the other videos in this playlist, has always come true. Two separate outcomes. Here's the ideal outcome. Ideally, we don't get shadow banned. The audience tab flatlining doesn't mean it's going to crash down. We're going to hold on to it. So the ideal outcome is we're hovering in this daily range of 80,000. You know what I mean? Like, look how stable this shit is. Look how stable the viewership is here, right? For the past 48 hours, we're kind of averaging that 160,000 mark point with our current output. And it's been extremely fucking stable. Look at this shit, right? Obviously, there's going to be moments that's out of my hand when something really insane happens, right? But for the most part, it is very, very stable. So if we keep going off of this right now, I think that into spring, we're going to do this. And then when spring hits, boom, we're going to hit again. And then ideally, we hit a new baseline. That's the goal. ReZero, all these other isekais, brand new shows coming in, Witch of Atelier, whatever, right? Ideally, this is a trajectory. But life doesn't just happen like that. So let's think about the likely outcome. So this is option one, right? This is amazing. I want this to be the new thing. Option B, we get shadow banned in a couple days, right? And when we get shadow banned, I expect the viewership to fall off. How much will it fall off to? I expect when we fall off that the baseline be the new peak. So the current baseline, I think the range will be like something like this. I'm probably gonna struggle, hit something like that. You know what I mean? That's where I expect mine to be. So I think that the new baseline lowest is going to be somewhere in the high range of the previous gains, while the peak be the new baseline, which we are maintaining right now. And even with this, when the spring happens, we are going to get the floodgates lifted again. And I do believe it's going to hit the same height again. And then we're going to be doing this. As in, even if it's option one or option two, into spring, the spring performance ceiling, I think, will hit the same shit. And now then it matters of, are we going to get shadow banned again and kind of doing this shit? Do you know what I mean? That is my prediction. If you don't see my videos in a couple of days, you know what happened. Hope you learned something. Goodbye.